Hi, this is Craig from StrategyBlocks, and over the next few minutes I'm going to be demonstrating how to connect an Excel spreadsheet or a Google Sheet to StrategyBlocks. And the reason you might want to do that is to take data out of the spreadsheet and populate the metrics or the KPIs within the monitor section of StrategyBlocks. But before we do that, there's actually a range of ways to get KPI data into the metrics section of StrategyBlocks. Spreadsheets are just one way of doing it. You can manually type the data directly into StrategyBlocks if it isn't available from any other source. You can also link to our new Metric Zone product, which is a ready-made database for KPI management and distribution directly into StrategyBlocks or indeed another reporting tool. Or you can attach directly to an underlying source database and feed the data in on an automated basis. What we're looking at on screen is StrategyBlocks on the left, opened with a demonstration model, and on the right we've got Excel, opened with StrategyBlocks Metrics Bulk Upload Spreadsheet, which you can get from StrategyBlocks support, or the support section of our website. So the first thing we'll look at is the StrategyBlocks model, and you can see it's a very simple strategy map. It's only got 3 blocks in it. If I now go to my monitor screen to have a look at my metrics, you'll see that I've created 2 metrics, one called revenue and one called earnings, and neither of which have got any data. There's no actuals or targets loaded against either of those metrics. The metrics themselves are created in StrategyBlocks and then made available to the spreadsheet. So now from Excel, I need to enable the content of the spreadsheet, and I need to start entering in the details to connect to the server. Most likely you're going to want to connect to the production server of StrategyBlocks, which is app.strategyblocks.com. But for this demonstration, I want to connect to our development server, so I'm just going to change that server address. I've also entered in my username, and when I hit refresh metrics, it's going to ask me for my password. With that done, it's gone back to the server and it's retrieved the KPIs that I have security privileges to see. In this case, my user is set up as an administrator, so I can see the 2 KPIs even though I'm not an owner of those KPIs. There are a couple of things to be aware of when you're using Excel to load metrics data into StrategyBlocks. Firstly, you can't have tabs with the same name, which means in StrategyBlocks you need to set your metrics up with different titles. There is also a maximum character length for the name of a tab, and tab titles can't contain certain special characters. Now we can start entering in some data. So I'm going to go to my earnings tab and I'm going to put in a couple of dates. So what we're able to do is load in the data against a range of dates, including both actual or target or either one, and you can put comment against the various entries as well. Going back to my admin screen now, I can determine which metrics I want to update. So I'm going to select earnings, I'm going to say yes, I'm not going to update revenue, and I'm going to click update my metrics. It'll ask me for my password again, and at which point I can hit OK, and I get a message saying that my earnings have been successfully updated. So now back in StrategyBlocks, if I refresh my browser, that data that I just entered into Excel into my earnings tab will be sent back to the server and my metric will be refreshed. So now we can see I've got my current actual of $200, I've got my target of $250, and if I click on that metric, I'm going to be able to see the rest of the data that we uploaded from Excel, including my comment. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to use a Google Sheet to update my revenue. So I've got a Google Sheet open, and you'll see in the toolbar there is a StrategyBlocks menu. Now, in order to get the StrategyBlocks menu, you need to enter in a custom script into the script editor. Now, if you want to get hold of that script, you can easily contact help@strategyblocks.com. They will provide you with the script that you need to enable the KPI upload. So under the StrategyBlocks menu, I've got a range of options. The first thing I can do is set up my account settings. So this is going to ask me again, much as I did before, to log into StrategyBlocks, and I can put in my password and I can save my details and the appropriate server, and it'll tell me that I'm successfully logged into the product. The next thing that I might want to do is I can test my account to make sure I've got a connection, and I can set up how I want the data in my spreadsheet to be mapped into strategy blocks. So if I go into the current sheet settings, it's going to ask me now if I want to set my data up on a row or column based format, and I'm going to select column. And if I configure a new KPI, it will go back to the server and retrieve again the KPIs that I am entitled to work with. I've now pasted the same data that we were working with in Excel back into the Google Sheet. I've selected the KPI that I want to update. Now I'm going to start to map the columns onto my data. So I'm going to say the date column is column A, my actuals are column B, I've got my comments in column D, and I've got my targets in column C, and I will hit save. With that done, I'll go back and I will now upload my current sheet to StrategyBlocks. And that data has been successfully uploaded to the metric revenue. So now going back to StrategyBlocks, so if I refresh my browser now, I can now see that my actuals and targets have been loaded against revenue. Thanks for taking the time to look at this video today, and I really hope that helps you get up and running with integrating your spreadsheet data into StrategyBlocks metrics. Thank you.